In my first video, I said that I go to a shrink, and that is true. I go to a shrink every Thursday for an hour, or a therapist, and I talk about like stuff that I've been battling with for like 5-6 years now, which is depression and anxiety. Well, depression, period. I just started getting anxiety within like a couple years. I'm only gonna talk about this because I feel like it can help people, because I'm still struggling with it, and I'm pretty sure other people are too, and probably don't speak up because I did it. So depression didn't really hit hard for me until my senior year in high school, to the point where literally before I would go to school, I would break down and cry, like bawling, and I would just feel defeated. And that's when I started to change, because before that, I used to be so happy-go-lucky, very hyper, like very an exciting person. And when stuff like that happened, I kind of mellowed out, and you can definitely see the change. So yeah, I started, my parents don't know this, I cut myself. I would do it on my thighs and on my arms, because those were always covered, because I would always wear pants. But I did used to cut myself. My family doesn't know this. My husband just started to know this because of recent events. But I've been battling with depression for a while, and it's kind of like you're drowning every day. Like, I literally, the only way that I don't think about what's going on in my head is when I'm doing something. So I would always work. I would always work. I've been working since I was about 15, well 14, I got my first job. So about 14, but when I started working in high school, all I did was work, because it got my mind off things. So then when it came into college and I started working, I got my mind off things. All I did was work. Right before I got married, same thing, like that. Even now, until we moved, all I did was work, because it gets my mind off what's going on with myself, or I keep busy and I try to do things so I don't think about what's going on. Being here in Fort Campbell kind of drove me back in. Like, I thought I was, and you always think, oh, I'm fine. And I tell myself that every day, all day, but I know I'm not fine. And then it's hard to admit that you're not fine when other people are saying you're fine, or it'll pass, or just give it time. But you're not crazy and it's not fine. You have given it time and it still hasn't gone away. So recently, well, my mother and my husband got, talked or whatever, and they got me a shrink. This shrink, I've been to several shrinks, but this shrink has made me feel different. Like, she's very, like, she gets it. I've been through several shrinks and I didn't feel like a connection. Like, I felt like I was just there to talk, and half the time I wasn't talking about what's going on with me. I was talking about what I'm doing today, tomorrow, this weekend. But she kind of makes me talk about what is making me feel this way. So New Year's Eve of 2012, yeah, going into 2013, I went with a friend at the time, who I thought was a friend, and we went about 3 hours away, I think, from home. After my mom told me at the time, like, she had a bad feeling, but I thought I was grown, because you know, 19, 20, you think you're grown. So I thought I was grown, and I went anyway. So my friends picked up her cousin and her friend, or his friend, excuse me, and we all drove 3 hours away. We were supposed to go to a club, but when we got there, we found out that it was like a $40 cover. Who got money for that? So we didn't go. We ended up staying in. So she knew people where we were, and I didn't. And at the time, my husband, well, he was my boyfriend then, was stationed in Korea. So I was like, okay, I'll just stay back and I'll just, talk to him, because that's all we did anyway. So I just figured I'd just do that. So her cousin's friend came into the room that I was staying in, and, basically, like, I thought we were just going to have a conversation, it didn't end up that way. You know, he raped me, and okay, so he raped me. It is what it is. And didn't think it would be this hard. And you know, I constantly fought him off, but that made him more aggressive because he liked it, which is really weird. He liked it, so the more that I fought, the more he continued and aggressively. Like, I had scars on my body from him, and to this, like, yeah, like to this day I still have scars on my body, like in the middle of, like, I have scars, okay, and that's the reason why I got this tattoo here, no weapons formed against me, is because it's on top of the scar, so I can kind of forget that happened. So that happened, and you know, I texted my friend and I told her, you know, like, I need you to come home. So she didn't understand why I texted her, so, but she didn't ask. She was just like, all right, I'm on my way. So she came, you know, and I let her know what happened. And as a friend, I was thinking that she would have been like, okay, let's go. Like, let me take you to the hospital. Let's go to the police station. I didn't get that. Instead, she got her sister, and her sister basically, you know, just talked and was like, what happened? And yeah, that's not right. And that's basically, that was in the conversation. So, like, I felt like they weren't taking me seriously. And then she's like, oh, well, I'm gonna have my husband talk to him. And, you know, like, me being in that mindset, I, like, because you know how you see stuff on TV, like, oh, if that was me, I would do this, that, and the third. That's what I used to do. But once you're in that position, like, you don't know what you would do. To be honest, you don't. So when that happened, I was, like, froze. Like, did this really just happen to me? And I felt like I needed someone to be like, no, we're taking you to the hospital. That, like, to me as a friend, you would do that. But I feel like they didn't believe me. So her husband talked to him, whatever. And basically they were trying to say that, like, I led him on or some crap. Like, you know, like, oh, girls say that all the time. They say no all the time, but they really want you to try. Ugh, what? You know what I mean? Like, what? Huh? What? So I heard them saying that. So when I went into the hallway, and he was standing, like, by the door, and I was just like, so when you were on top of me, I wasn't saying no. He's like, yeah, you were. I was like, so when you were trying to, you know, do whatever you were trying to do, was I not pulling up my pants? He's like, yeah, you were. And I was like, and was I trying to get you off of me? He's like, yeah, you were, but there's no buts. Like, clearly, so what you did was wrong, yes or no? He's like, yeah. So, but y'all think I'm lying. I was like, just take me home. So they took me home, whatever. Like, I can still smell his hair sometimes. I can still smell his scent. And so after that happened, like, I did take a shower. I know you're not supposed to, but I was just, like I said, you don't know what you would do in that position. And I feel stupid do it. Like, I look back on it, I'm like, that was a stupid move. But so I get home, and I'm on the phone, like, in the bathroom, like, talking real low and crap, like, this is what happened to me. And my little sister heard me say that I got raped and told my mom. If it wasn't for her, I don't think I would have told my parents right then, because I'm still like, what happened? You know what I mean? Like, I like, even to this day, I still, like, not until things trigger, like, I still don't think that happened to me until certain things trigger in my mind. But she told my mom, and my mom took me to the hospital. I got tested for everything. They did the rape kit on me. I went through a counseling service, like, stuff like that. And luckily, I had all the stuff that I wore that night, including my underwear, everything like that. And they took that for evidence. It's just little things that trigger my anxiety, and it's still new for me. But when I got married, you know, I tried to put that outside, because I was like, you know what, I'm fine. Like, this is not me. Like, I'm good. You know what I mean? So I kind of put it in the back of my head. The only time it really gets worse is around Christmas time, Christmas and New Year's, like right after Thanksgiving. That's when it starts. When I start seeing, like, Christmas stuff, Christmas lights, Christmas trees, that triggers a lot for me. I start having night terrors. But my depression comes with anything. Like, I will think I'm fine, but but then something happens and I'm not. Like the littlest things that don't mean squat to me mean a lot to me when I'm going through anxiety. I can be in a room full of people and I know I know I'm looking at you and I know you're not talking about me, but my anxiety is saying something different. So it freaks me out and that causes another panic attack. Like it's just a lot. People that are genuinely happy with their lives and like genuinely happy. I don't know how that feels. I really don't. And that's the truth. I really don't. Because this is an ongoing thing, like I said. So I'm making this vlog for anyone that is going through something like that. You're not alone. Trust me. Because I feel like I'm always alone. Like I have my husband, yes, but he doesn't quite understand what I'm going through because he doesn't understand what I'm going through because he's never dealt with depression before. And so I constantly feel alone. And this is for others who constantly feel that way. You're not. You can write me. My email is on my account. You can write me. You can comment. Like, leave me your information. Like, you're not alone at all whatsoever. I'm battling with this and I'm getting help. And my thing is, don't be afraid to get help. Get help. Get help. It can get better, and I'm sure that it will get better. So if anybody wants to talk or if anyone's going through something, let people know. Talk to somebody. Do not go through this alone because it's not a good feeling. You're not alone. You're really not. No weapons formed against me shall prosper.